Bienvenido a todos. Welcome to another video here at Yo Spanish. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Yo Spanish. And turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time I release a video, which is pretty much at least once a week. Today, in this video, we are going to talk about why not speaking your partner's language is slowly weakening your relationship and how you can fix it quickly. So without further ado, vamos pues. So it's no secret that a relationship is built on communication. Communication is very important, okay? It's an integral part of any relationship. And not even just in romantic relationships, but in business relationships, in friendships, in any kind of relationship, communication is vital. All right, so if you cannot communicate with your partner because you don't speak your partner's language, of course that's going to massively hurt your relationship. Okay, so a lot of relationship counselors or gurus will talk about communication is very important and how to better communicate with your partner, but that's all in English. Okay, that's just assuming that you both speak English. So imagine, okay, making sure that you're doing that and then also adding in a language barrier. So now you have twice the amount of communication that you need to make sure that you are maintaining to have a healthy relationship. So it's super important to be able to speak your partner's language. Language learning is an investment in maintaining the emotional foundation of your relationship. So what do I mean by that? Well, you want your wife to be able to open up to you. You want her to be able to express how she's feeling. Now, doing that with a Google Translate app, you might get the gist of it, but it's not going to be anywhere near close to the level of emotion that she wants to express and the detail that she wants to give you. Okay, you need to be able to understand, not just to be able to speak your mind and say what you want to say, but your understanding. The more that you learn Spanish, the better that you become at speaking Spanish, the better your understanding becomes, the better your listening becomes, okay, and the better your interpretation, etc. So you need to be at a level where you can give a space to your wife to be able to open up and express how she's feeling. All right. Now, one of our students, he's experienced this right now. He's tried to learn Spanish for 4 years before us, almost gave up, but since we've been on board, he's renewed a couple of times, and we've been doing it for the best part of a year now. But even after a few months, he was already seeing the differences. His wife was already telling him, like, wow, she can actually not water down how she's feeling because of the limited Spanish that he has, but she could actually go into detail and tell him how she's feeling. And of course, especially your wife, you need to be able to understand how she's feeling. And it goes both ways. The wife will need to understand how the husband's feeling, and etc. Or just in general, whoever your partner is, it's so important to be able to not just communicate how you're feeling, but understand how they're feeling. Okay? And having a better understanding of Spanish is going to allow you to do that. And that's what we specialize here at Yo Spanish. We have so many students who are trying to understand their wife better and be able to communicate better with their wife. Okay? And partner in general. So if you allow a space for them to open up, of course your relationship is going to be better. Okay, the communication is going to be better. You're going to be emotionally more connected with each other because you feel like you really understand each other on a deep emotional basis, rather than just maybe physical attraction or sexual attraction or just romantic and but not really too deep. You really want to be able to understand your partner well, and to be able to do that, you need to have a good level of their language, which of course is Spanish. Successful people invest in their relationships the same way that they invest in their business. Okay, now success and successful person, etc., these are subjective terms. This is subjective because somebody who's excelling in their career is, that's great. Maybe you see success as business and financial goals. That's what a lot of people attach success to. But if you're failing with your personal life and you can't communicate with your wife because she speaks another language, or your health is just like deteriorating and you can't walk up the stairs without feeling way out of breath, is that success? Success encompasses everything. All right, so yeah, you might be excelling with your business, but if your family life and your personal life and your relationships are like in the gutter, is that real success? So again, successful people recognize that, okay, I'm doing great with my business, I'm excelling here, but my personal life needs more attention, needs more focus, it needs more. I need to water this plant, otherwise it's gonna weep. All right, so again, it's important that you recognize this and you're able to communicate better with your partner. All right, because ultimately, if you don't communicate as well as you want to with her, that's going to put a big strain on your relationship. And maybe your wife is thinking to herself, well, if he doesn't want to learn my language, that means he's not really so bothered about me being able to open up to him and connect to him deeper on an emotional level. He's not really too fussed about our communication and how I'm feeling. He doesn't really want to get to know me fully. Maybe he doesn't want to, he's not really bothered about getting to know my family and hanging out with my parents, etc., etc. These could be all of the things that she's thinking. Okay, and it's not too far-fetched at all, not by any means, because we have students who maybe she is or she isn't thinking that. But you, as a native English speaker, maybe you are thinking that. And, we've had students that have been there and have had these thoughts thinking, damn, if I don't learn Spanish, these consequences are pretty real. Okay, maybe she loses respect for you, which is a huge one. Okay, if your wife doesn't respect you, this is a huge one. All right, or maybe she feels like you don't love her as much as you say you do because you don't care about, learning a language so that she can communicate her feelings to you, because more often than not, she probably wants to communicate her feelings to you a lot. That's naturally. Or maybe she feels like you don't really care about her family, you don't really care about her culture or where she's from. All of these things, okay, which is very, very real. They are very, very real. So by you putting off or procrastinating or even neglecting learning your partner's language, it's a very, very big deal. And the ultimate consequences we've listed there. Maybe she doesn't respect you. That's a huge one. Maybe she doesn't feel like you love her, or you don't respect her culture. But ultimately, she could leave you. Okay, if the relationship has gotten to a point where it's years into the relationship and you still can't speak Spanish, you still can't communicate with her, and you still don't understand what she's saying, maybe there's only so much that she can take. Okay, and it's not uncommon for her to be thinking like, well, where is this really going? I don't really know my husband, and do you really want to have a partner like that? I wouldn't. So it's vitally important that you focus on trying and making it a goal in your life to learn your partner's language. Now, if you're watching this video, you've probably already tried to learn Spanish. You're probably currently learning Spanish, and it's probably more likely than not working out for you. Don't be alarmed. You're not by yourself. There are millions of people in this position, okay? And it's not your fault. It's definitely not your fault. Unfortunately, most Spanish schools, tutors, language apps, especially the language apps, and other places where you might go to learn Spanish, just don't get you to the level where you envision yourself being, all right? Yeah, you're going to learn a few things here and there, but really and truly, it's not getting you to the level where you can speak how I'm speaking to the camera right now in English, but doing that same in Spanish, okay? Like expressing yourself, having conversations, making jokes, flirting, and all sorts, all right? So here at Yo Spanish, you may have heard from some of the other videos that you've seen, we have what is called the flowchart method, okay? I went from 0 to 18 months fluent, all right, on my own, okay? I would have done that fast if I had somebody like me on my side, but I didn't. So I had to, figure out what I needed to learn and what I didn't need to learn. And I went through all the obstacles, and I've put that into a easy to follow 3-step guide, which is called the flowchart method, which will take you from 0 to conversational in just 3 months, 90 days, okay? So if you've been trying to learn Spanish because of your partner and it's not been working, maybe you've been a few months in, maybe a few years in, okay? Wherever you are, that's fine. We're gonna help you out, all right? With our plan, with our structure and our system, you're gonna be able to see results. Yes, you're gonna become conversational in no more than 90 days, but after 30 days, you'll see results. After 2 weeks, you will see results. Even after your first session, you will probably have more results than you've had in the last couple of months on language apps, or maybe even more. I know people that have been on some language apps for 2 years and still can't even introduce themselves in Spanish. So the flowchart method is an easy to follow 3-step plan. Okay, we start you off by introducing yourself in Spanish, useful phrases that you can use, remember, and use them in conversation. Just as soon as you've learned it in the first hour, you can go straight away and use that and see the difference that you will have that you have not had for months with language apps and other things. Okay, so it gets you started straight away. No long-winded nonsense. We get you started straight away, so you can take what you've learned and go into a conversation and test yourself in the real world. Okay, because that's ultimately what you need to be able to do, to test yourself in conversation, not test yourself with the point scores that you get on these apps. Number two, step two, we take 14 words to be able to express yourself and create sentences in the present, future, and past, just using 14 words. Okay, very, very simple, but very, very, very effective. Okay, and you'll be alarmed and surprised at how quickly you can start making your own sentences and make real progress. Okay, and then step number three, we go into more detail with verbs or actions, as I like to call them, and more detail with sentence structure. Okay, so again, the flowchart method is focused mainly on sentence structure. All right, we focus on the components of what you find within a sentence and help you understand each of those components, whether they're naming words, whether they're describing words, whether they're action words, and we help you make sense of them. We go into detail in each one of them, and then you can start creating and constructing your own sentences. So here we don't give you the fish, we give you the fishing net. We help you understand the fundamentals of Spanish, the foundations, the structures, and then everything else just falls into place like Lego. Okay, that is literally what we do here at Yo Spanish. We don't just teach you about Spanish, because yeah, you might be learning stuff in Spanish, but is it really helping you? Like, you want to learn basketball, you don't have to play basketball, and your coach teaches you how to slam dunk on the first session. Is that really helping your basketball game? Or should you be learning how to catch the ball and how to pass and how to dribble the ball? Okay, so we give you the relevant things to learn. And again, this is very useful for, you know, implementing it to your partner, because time is time is everything. Okay, so I know, like I said, I know people that have spent 2 years trying to learn Spanish on like language apps, and their score is great. They've got a 2-year streak. They got like these points and whatever. They're on this leaderboard thing, but in the real world, when they have a conversation, they can barely introduce themselves. After 2 years, you should be fluent in Spanish. 2 years at US Spanish, you will be fluent in Spanish. Okay, so providing you're doing what you should be doing, and you're utilizing the content, and you're following what I say, and you're practicing as much as you should be practicing. Yeah, 2 years you should be fluent. 2 years you will be fluent. Okay, but again, back to the partner and back to your, you know, your wife. It's so important that you take the initiative, and especially as a man, you take the initiative and you learn your wife or your partner's language. Okay, it's very, very important, and you will see the difference in your relationship and how your relationship gets better. And you know, one of our students, his wife is Latina, and you know, he's a busy businessman. He's in his 50s. He's a busy businessman from the USA, and you know, he has drastically seen the improvements in his relationship. Not like his relationship was ever struggling or anything like that, but it's just gotten even stronger. To you know, he's having jokes with her brothers and her sisters and her aunties, her cousins, etc. You know, at the family, he's not just sitting twiddling his thumbs at the family gatherings. He's actually getting involved in understanding what people are saying, and he's getting to know their family better. And even just her seeing him getting to know her family better makes her happier with him in the relationship, happier with herself, etc. Everything. And between him and his wife personally, she's able to open up more. She's able to specifically tell him how she's feeling, and he just says the connection is just greater. She has more respect for him because he's done something that was hard for him and that he was struggling with, and he's finally overcome onto the other side. And now she's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, she sees him as like a superhero now, because she didn't think that it was going to be possible for him to be able to speak and learn Spanish. Just the whole relationship with his wife and the relationship with his wife's family is just completely stronger. It's just he sees the family more now. She's like happier to have the family over, and it's just an upward spiral of, you know, success. All right, so again, it's so important that you start learning your wife's language, your partner's language. It's everything. Okay, if you don't, the ultimate consequence could be divorce. I don't want to be drastic. I don't want to be jinxing anything, but let's be real. That's the ultimate consequence. So yeah, if you're watching this video, start today. Learn your partner's language and see the fruits of your labor. So thanks for watching. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and put on the turn on the post notifications so you get notified of a new video every time I post a new video. And I'll see you on the next one. Vamos pues.